Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts.
Hello, MJ traders. So, ACB stealing the show. I must admit, this is one of the more impressive short squeezes I've ever seen. We've seen big short squeezes in Blue Sky breakout. That's like winning with Michael Jordan on your team. This is taking the last place team from the year before and going to the big show. So this is very impressive. Pretty much an all-out capitulation bottom straight into a massive short squeeze. Impressive. No doubt about it. So there's a couple catalysts. Number one, the flushing of the bottom. That's important too. Flushing everything out. Clearing the order book to the bottom. And that allows for the move up to be that much easier. Everybody that's going to short has already gone short. Everybody that's going to liquidate long positions has already liquidated them. Then you see the catalyst of earnings and huge money is getting involved. And we're going to see a lot of volume and liquidity continue because day traders now are focused on ACB, trading it in both directions. And I'm day trading ACB today for the first time in a very long time. So as long as that volume and volatility is there, we're going to see opportunity in both directions. But what are the catalysts? Earnings from ACB, USMJ catalyst are the potential for the next COVID bill to have some kind of banking relief in it. I think it still has a lot of hurdles in the Republican-led Senate, but it's a bit of a hype catalyst. And of course, earnings reactions, GTII, Curaleaf now today after hours, and seeing bullish reactions there as well. So hype has returned to the space, absolutely. And I said it before, I'll say it again, ACB, you want to prove something to me, you're proving a very flashy move, absolutely. Prove follow through. When this move tops out, if you can give me a daily higher low within 3 days and a higher high 3 days later, that will be more impressive to me than the short squeeze move because that will show bulls buying dips. Any bears that entered short will continue to be squeezed and it will show momentum and follow through. So the daily trend change will still be needed. Keep in mind, Canada was closed today and Canadians are going to see a big gap up open tomorrow and we have to see what profit taking looks like on that big gap up open. Support for ACB, we've got a base here at 1637, another higher low at 1667. Resistance will be 1841 and 1968. If this hourly uptrend remains intact tomorrow, bulls keep complete control. If we lose the hourly uptrend, daily inside bar on the US side will be the most likely scenario. And there will be bears ready to top fish 1968. Any top fishing bears have gotten run over the last couple days, but they're going to keep trying because once we do top, obviously we're going to see a solid 10 to 20% pullback. But we have those hourly higher lows. Most important, 1630s, 1660s. So with that hype, we're seeing it trickle over CGC, very significant bounce as well. Let's talk bigger picture. We're looking for a weekly trend change. We went 100% with no weekly trend change. We then pulled back a very significant amount. Weekly higher low is now set. We have to break 1825 to change the weekly trend. When's the last time we saw a clear weekly higher low and higher high? That was back in December. So it's been over 5 months, and we need a daily trend change. This is looking a little toppy for CGC. Are we still in an hourly uptrend? Yes, but if we see a loss of the hourly uptrend tomorrow and daily consolidations start to shape up, bulls are going to be looking for daily higher lows compared to 1295. And then again, we need that daily follow through. This move is coming straight off the low. We must change the daily trend to have confidence in the potential of a weekly trend change. Earnings are approaching on CGC as well next week. APHA, still in a daily downtrend. So anything under 378 is a daily low or high. That makes bears more confident. So if we see a bear break and lose the hourly uptrend tomorrow, daily low or high is set. Yes, there's tons of space for a daily higher low to then form compared to 278, but bulls have proving to do. Change the daily trend to set a convincing weekly higher low. If you are looking to be a long-term bull and swing trade, if you want to be patient, you're waiting for a weekly trend change, keeping in mind that at that point, we'll have already bounced well over 100% from the low. If you're looking to be aggressive, you're either already in for a weekly higher low, or you're looking to enter a daily higher low next time we consolidate with a stop below the anticipated weekly higher low. Let's just say, rough example, APHA. We start to pull back from here without breaking 378. I scale in an entry at 340, another one at 320. My average is 330. My stop is under 278 because if 278 breaks, I am wrong. There is no weekly trend change. If that level holds, I don't stop out, and ideally the bulls break resistance and confirm the weekly trend change, and then I'm in a long-term position. So that's one way to be playing it if I wanted to be an aggressive bull. Who am I missing? Cron. Cron, that's a bearish reversal candle. So again, we're not changing any daily trend at this point. We did break a lower high at 598. Big bearish reversal candle. If we break 557 tomorrow, we're looking for the daily higher low compared to 462, and we must follow through with a daily trend change for this to be meaningful. Otherwise, it's a 3-day move. Bulls take their money, thank you very much, and then we go back to slow fade. So we must change the daily trends. I cannot emphasize that enough. TLRY broke daily lower high resistance, but we need the trend change. It's a bearish candle today with a good amount of profit taking. If we break 787, bulls have to form a daily higher low compared to 665 and then see continuation into the end of this week or into next week. Weekly time frame, trying for a higher low as well. Need the daily trend change for weekly higher lows to be set. Hexo, laggard move, and a laggard in a big way. Short squeeze of its own, absolutely. What's the weekly doing? Low of the dump, high of the bounce. Higher low is now 40 cents. Anything under 123, which is still 65% away. Anything under that is a weekly lower high. So we're in a weekly equilibrium at this point. Are we still in an hourly uptrend? You could say so, but just cautious. OGI, solid bull move. Coming off the low though, need a daily trend change to prove it. Second gap up in a row. If we were to gap up open tomorrow, we would expect a temporary top to be set with a bearish reversal 3 gap up pattern and a potential volume climax. VFF, bearish reaction to earnings, not participating with the sector euphoria Friday, trying to play a little catch up. 367 broke, 379 has not. If 379 breaks, that's a weekly trend change. You can consider that a little weekly higher low at 286 and then a bull break to a higher high. And it will also be getting over the weekly exponential resistance for the first time in 7-8 months, which would be notable as well. A little bit more follow through needed. Not covering a handful of names. Labs, VLNS, they're seeing some bull moves, but again, bigger picture, it's not really doing much. IAN, CWeb, not really doing much. So USMJ, IIPR, keeping an eye on it for its tightening range. We like tightening ranges when they break. This is the 2-day time frame, condensing things down. Low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low. Anything under 80.95 is just a lower high. And the most important support is now 66.86. So if we set one more lower high, we'll look for a pullback and a higher low. It's entirely possible we stay in this tightening range for another week and a half plus. Just something to keep an eye on for when it eventually breaks. So our lead MSOs, Cureleaf. Let's go first. GTII is a lead bull. We're using OTC tickers because the dollar volume on the OTC is more significant than on the CSE now consistently. So GTII, it's burned in my brain to call them the Canadian tickers, but GTII is the lead technical bull in the USMJ space now because of the size of the bounce from the low. Granted, we're not as far along as far as we haven't broken the high of January. And if we look at TRUL, it's broken the high of January. So it's different in that regard, but percentage-wise, GTII a bit ahead. If we have to pick the top 3, technically speaking, GTII, Cureleaf, and TRUL. So we'll see what the reaction is. No, let's start with GTII. So GTII, hourly higher low. Bulls trying to hold 959. Again, we have to anticipate that Tomorrow, it's a big gap up open for Canadians, and we have to see what profit taking looks like from that. Right now on GTII, we have tons of space for a daily high or low. The weekly chart, you could consider that we're already in an uptrend. 1050 is the next most important resistance level. And next time we consolidate, there's tons of space for a weekly high or low as well. Comfortable amounts of space for both daily and weekly high or lows once we top out. Cureleaf earnings were after hours. CEO was on CNBC and getting his face out there for some publicity. Anything above 410 is a daily high or low. Tons of daily space to keep the uptrend. 761 is the most important weekly resistance. Have we changed the weekly trend? Not very convincingly, but again, tons of space for a weekly high or low when we top out from here. TRUL, big bull move. Anything on the daily above $10 is a high or low. That's 30% of a pullback. Weekly time frame, tons of space. 1373 is the level. If we clear that level, we are then looking at the highest price in 13 months. Who else in the USMJ space is looking at the highest price in 13 months? Answer is nobody. Cureleaf is 100% move away, a little bit less, 80, 90% move away. And GTII even is 80% away. So it depends on your perspective. Short term, GTII is stronger than TRUL. Big picture, TRUL has recovered more than anybody else in the USMJ space. Other names that are notable, CL, daily high or low established, heading back to resistance. It's not as strong because we're not in full-on breakout mode. 478 is resistance. If we reject from that level, we'll have a tightening daily range. And same for Harv. 160 resistance, strong close, increasing bull volume, all good. Earnings are approaching. If we break 160, convincing follow-through, but bigger picture, a lot more work to do. TRUL is looking up towards April levels, and for that to happen on Harv, we need 500% plus. So again, very different long-term perspective. So congrats to the Bulls, a great hype run. And again, the observation and the takeaway here is the MJ sector dumped for Corona and it dumped for end of 2018 market dump. And the result of both of those dumps were massive bounces. In this instance, last time in 2018, it was step for step with the S&P 500. This time it lagged. They were laggard sectors, and then they picked up the momentum. And that is all I've got to say. We're keeping an eye on the mushroom sector. I put out weekend videos for members. We're watching Shroom and MindMed. We got the IPO on Wednesday. We're going to be covering that as that's happening live. Certainly some hype and euphoria there as well. Let's see. I mean, best case scenario, if we're talking best case USMJ, we want to see this euphoria top out, cool down a bit, set a weekly high or low, and then give us some kind of political hope for banking reform or uplisting. Why don't you see short squeezes on the OTC like you do on the NASDAQ and the NYSE? Because of the lack of automated trading, in my opinion, the lack of the ability for people to short. So pretty much if you want to see a short squeeze like ACB, you've got to be on the NYSE or the NASDAQ, and that is the goal for all US MSOs. Have a good rest of your day. Hope you've been well, do good things, and we will see you soon.
So this is Dottie. She's a old grandma, as you can see from her nips. Laid a few litters in her day, fostering her for a couple weeks. She likes wrestling and throwing her weight around and cuddling. Pretty good girl. Fitting name. I've only ever known old women named Dottie, and she's kind of like an old grandma. Little fuzzball nerd faces. So these are the ingredients of Dan's soup. We got some spinach, kale, chard, collards, some tatsoi, and some green onion that floured too soon, but you can still make some green onion soup out of it. Put it into bone broth. There you go.